PlayStation explains why PSN was down for so long and fans aren't happy. It would seem that the PSN outage has confirmed every single concern that we've expressed on this channel about the forced requirement for the PlayStation Network. At the end of the day, all they really care about is the data that they can harvest from each individual customer in order to maximize their profits. Hello fellow travelers and welcome to the Hard Light Network. Alrighty guys, so I'm finally back from my semi-unplanned little break, and first and foremost, I wanted to thank each and every one of you guys for continuing to support the channel while I was gone. It took a little longer than I thought, but I'm finally back into a new place with a brand new setup ready to create more content. And of course, as luck would have it, while we were away, it would seem that the PSN outage has confirmed every single concern that we've expressed on this channel about the forced requirement for the PlayStation Network. But don't worry guys, because Sony has come equipped with the excuses for why everybody's PlayStation 5 console was bricked on a Friday night. Of course, before we get into it guys, you know that I've got to ask you to hit that like button if you've liked the video, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content that I've got coming up for you guys in the future, and also leave your comments down below with your thoughts on this issue. Also, for those of you who want to go the extra mile in supporting this channel, there is an option down below for super thanks alongside the memberships tab for those who want access to exclusive content and perks. All of that out of the way, we can finally get into today's article, which comes to us from Gaming Bible and is entitled PlayStation explains why PSN was down for so long and fans aren't happy. Well done, my friends. We've made it through another PlayStation Network outage. You may recall the dark days of the 2011 PSN outage, which lasted for a whopping 23 days. Fair to say, I think many of us spent much of this weekend fearful that history may be repeating itself. Thankfully, this time around, PSN was only down for 24 hours. I say only, of course. That's still very bad news for users, but the outage paled in comparison to what many of us experienced in 2011. If you're completely unaware of what happened, PlayStation users were essentially unable to use all online services, whether that being accessing online games or downloading titles from the PlayStation Store, for example. The network shut down on Friday, the 7th of February, with services slowly restoring around 24 hours later on Saturday, the 8th of February. Now, PlayStation has taken to social media to explain exactly what happened. Unlike the 2011 outage, which was caused by a hack, this latest version was due to a, quote, operational issue. Quote, network services have fully recovered from an operational issue. We apologize for the inconvenience and thank the community for their patience, the official Ask PlayStation Twitter account wrote. It added that all PlayStation Plus members would receive an additional 5 days of service as compensation. That's all well and good, but PlayStation failed to compensate those without PlayStation Plus. Yes, PlayStation Plus is predominantly how you access the online services of most games, but you don't need it for games like Fortnite, for example. Non-PlayStation Plus users also wouldn't have been able to access titles on the PlayStation Store, so you do have to wonder why they've been excluded from this compensation. Quote, so non-PS Plus gets nothing, wrote one disgruntled fan. Quote, that's not good enough, added another. Of course, plenty of people were upset about the company's lack of communication during the outage. That rumored state of play can't come soon enough. PlayStation needs to distract its fans. So there you have it, guys. For any of you console players out there watching this video, just know that in the future, if you lose access to your online service, your concerns will be hand-waved away with a complimentary 5 days of service. And while I certainly feel for those PlayStation customers who lost pretty much their entire weekend of playtime to this operational issue, this is exactly the type of issue that I've been talking about on this channel for months when it comes to the PlayStation Network requirement. And look, it's one thing when a malicious actor like a hacker causes a shutdown for a period of time, because at least then you have someone to blame it on. This nameless, faceless, quote, operational issue is hard to take up arms against from a consumer standpoint. And while I have a degree of sympathy and understanding for network outages, because it's not like we're running on perfect sci-fi technology with these servers, it's kind of a self-inflicted wound whenever you force PSN requirements, even for offline single-player games. And while I hate to be too hawkish on Sony when it comes to this issue, it seems like the perfect time to reapproach this subject about this forced requirement. I mean, at this point, it should be obvious to the average customer that it doesn't actually make anything better, and when things like this do happen, it only compounds the issue. And in addition to being locked into an online service that by all means should be optional, whenever something goes wrong, you just have to eat that with the paltry gift of 5 days of PSN service, as long as you're a paying member of it. And sure, while it's marginally better than absolutely nothing, a 5-day pass has limited utility, considering the 5 days of the week that we spend at work or school, you're not really going to be playing all that much on the PlayStation Network. To tell you the truth here, I might be showing my age a little bit, but honestly, I feel as though these online services should charge the same way that old cell phone services used to do with minutes. It should only actually count the time that I spend connected to the PlayStation Network against my balance. On top of that, I should also be allowed to play offline single-player games truly offline without being forced into signing into the PlayStation Network. Times like this, when the service shuts down and the company is unable to provide an actual reason why, really just highlights that this isn't about increasing the quality of their service, and it certainly isn't about maintaining the safety for their products and players. This is really about data harvesting and manipulating of personal information from Sony. At the end of the day, all they really care about is the data that they can harvest from each individual customer in order to maximize their profits. But that's not all there is to this story, as there was a companion piece written in addition to this article that outlines the community's response to this outage. From the article also on the Gaming Bible entitled Free PlayStation Plus Roasted by Angry Fans, quote, "There is nothing better than finishing work after a long week, sitting back and booting up your PlayStation to kickstart the weekend. Unfortunately, this was not the case for millions of PlayStation users on Friday after the PlayStation Network went offline for over 24 hours. As a result, the disruption stopped players from being able to access online aspects of certain games such as Fortnite, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Marvel Rivals, as well as causing issues with license verification of offline single-player titles. With Sony now revealing that it had, quote, fully recovered from the shutdown, but without offering any reason as to why it happened, it has offered a consolation prize for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 users. Quote, network services have fully recovered from an operational issue, read a tweet by Ask PlayStation. We apologize for the inconvenience and thank the community for their patience. All PlayStation Plus members will automatically receive an additional 5 days of service. However, this attempt to satiate players has not gone down well, and PlayStation users have taken to the comments to express their frustration. Quote, bare minimum, user Based Lita simply said. Quote, it's okay, but next time can we communicate? I just need communication. That's all. If we're going to make this work, we have to work on communication, another user shared. However, another user made a valid point. What was the cause of the issue, they asked. Given what happened in 2011, we need to know if we need to call our banks for new credit cards and need identity protection services. Tell us why you were down, as this is serious. This user is referring to an event back in 2011 which caused PSN to go down as the result of a, quote, an external intrusion, or quite simply, hacking. As a result, 77 million accounts had their information compromised and the service was kept offline for over a month as a response. Luckily, Sony has not confirmed or denied that this was the case for February of 2025, but it is no wonder that fans are feeling frustrated by the lack of transparency. So there you have it, guys. The community is obviously not happy, and it doesn't seem like Sony is going to be offering an explanation anytime soon, at least not one that they're not legally bound to give. And this is exactly what I bet about my earlier point about data harvesting. Your information is no longer secure as long as it's in the hands of these companies, especially when they show so little concern for its security. And that 5 free days of service is less about restitution for the inconvenience and is more about shutting you up so you don't complain. And I guarantee you that Sony knows there are a minority of customers who will use this 5 free days of service as a cudgel to defend them with. Anytime this conversation is brought up, there are no shortage of dorks in the comment section defending the company's bad practices. And it's not limited to Sony. Anytime one of these major companies makes a mistake or screws up like this, there are always these people ready to go to bat for them. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to hit that like button if you liked the video, subscribe so you don't miss out on the content that I've got coming up for you guys, and also hit that comment section down below with your thoughts on the issue. Do you think PlayStation owes its customers an explanation, or are you happy with the 5 days of service? Do you feel like more could have been done, or do you feel like Sony didn't even owe them that and the 5 days is more than enough? Regardless of where you land on the issue, drop it down below, and as always, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, and until next time, love you guys, safe travels.